idea for you. You ready?
I mean, not really. Good morning, by the way.
And good morning. Young Alec Lewis, Alec_Lewis, theathletic.com, covers the Minnesota Vikings, assumedly for profit, but he howls by evening. And here's a suggestion. If you are not covering or attending the Timberwolves game this evening, well, then 9 to noon has a suggestion for you. You ready, Nordo?
Yeah.
YA should be going to free house. It's Mighty Mighty. He'll let it all hang out. YA at free house. Brick House, Commodores, Lionel Richie. Free house this evening with Nordo. He's doing a bit.
I woke up this morning. I wasn't, first of all, that was just phenomenal by you guys. I mean, really, I'm surprised they don't just bottle that up and put it on the internet.
What's even more shocking is you didn't laugh.
No. Honestly, I'm going to get to free house in a second. But someone tweeted me, they're like, would you just stop laughing on the radio with PA? Yeah. Like, okay, I'll zipper my mouth shut and just stop laughing. Like, people act like I've got like a laughing box. I don't know. Like, as I told you before we got on today, you're one of a kind. I laugh. I'm sorry.
I'm not as funny as you make me sound.
No, that's probably true. But
you laugh a lot, which is not a bad quality to have.
Yeah, a lot of my friends would say too that I'll laugh at very bad jokes, and I also tell very bad jokes. Anyway, free house. I woke up this morning, realized I'm not covering the game. Totally okay.
Who put that L on you?
No, I'm honestly, I'll get to have a good time, and I was thinking free house regardless. Then I find out that Nordo's going to be there for KFAN. I've got some buddies. I think we're going to head over there. So I'm honestly very excited.
Free House is happy to hear that because it is a watch party. It officially starts at 6:30. I'm going to get there around 7, and we're going to give away a bunch of $50 gift cards. It's going to be a blast, and maybe you'll see Alec Lewis of The Athletic there and ask him why he laughed so much.
Yeah, just like yesterday. How about this?
Oh, my.
How about this long shot of all long shots ever to long shot? So I'm meeting a dear friend of mine named Tim Siegley, who owns First Resource Bank in Stillwater. And we meet about once every 2 weeks to chat about the Canterbury Chapel and other things like that at an obscure Caribou in Eagan.
Okay.
Like by Buffalo Wild Wings. So there we are at that Caribou Buffalo Wild Wings Eagan. Lo and behold, Alec rolls up in his silver car he calls Mean Machine and is like, hey guys, mind if I sit down and join? He sat there for 2 hours.
Wow.
It was like he was coming from the facility, TCOPC, way, because the media was able to watch practice yesterday. And I'm like, are you kidding me? A Caribou in Eagan with the owner of a bank who's a dear friend of mine discussing Canterbury Park Chapel-related items. And Alec just rolls up after getting out of the Mean Machine and sits there for 2 hours.
Did he actually write anything after?
Well, I could.
Well, that was a topic of contention. I'm glad you brought it up.
They kept talking, and my editor's like, "When are you going to have that story? When are you going to have that story?" And I tried. You know this too.
So that bullet point bit at The Athletic right now, that's what you were attempting to write.
Yes, that, and I also had a feature that I was trying to get polished up and finalized.
Yep.
But I tried. You know this. I tried to switch tables and leave them two on their own. And you were like, "No, you're going to sit here and listen." I was like, "Well, now my editor's going to."
No, I didn't say listen. I said you're going to sit here. We'll speak in hushed tones. It's going to be heavy laden. This Hades meaning Hades that, and we won't get in your way. But we just want you in our yoke.
It was honestly. So it was like I went to the practice. It was OTAs and it was open to the media, and we were inside. It was raining. It was great. And then I realized, like, I haven't eaten lunch. Mm-hmm. So it was like 3:30, and I drove over to that Chick-fil-A in Eagan. I mean, they might know my name in there. I might as well just have a tab that I just ring up in there because I go so often.
Yep.
And then I was like, I should just work here. I don't want to drive back to the Northeast where I live. And I pull up. And there's a guy sitting outside with the Timberwolves beanie and sunglasses. I'm like, I don't know what that guy's doing. He's kind of an interesting looking guy. I get out of my car.
Where it was raining. Where we were, there was sunshine. But anyway.
70 degrees. A guy wearing a winter hat. It's a 50-50 shot.
I had to clear my throat so I could get out a deep. Is there a beverage I can get you?
No, kid you not. I get out of my car and
the children?
I get out of my car and I hear, "Can I get you anything?" And I'm like thinking, I'm in the middle of Eagan, Minnesota. I never knew. I don't even know what Eagan is. I just had Chick-fil-A. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I need to write. Yeah. And then
it's an arduous day watching a football practice, especially indoors when the sun's not on you. But anyway,
he's got a call set up with Gabriel Murphy's mom in 20 minutes.
No, after what Alec wrote in his story today at The Athletic and theathletic.com about the Edge Gabriel Murphy. There's not a call, there's a FaceTime so that you can even farther or even further observe his body because his body clearly caught your eyes yesterday. But anyway.
No, it did. I mean, you had him working out right next to Dallas Turner. I'm like, they look, I mean, they both look explosive. Mm-hmm. Andre Carter doesn't really look like this. I kind of wrote that. It was probably a little harsh. But
he didn't last year either.
No, right.
I mean, that just might be him.
Right. No, but anyway, yeah. So Nordo, kid you not. I pull up and can I get you a beverage? I'm like thinking, is this like some guy in Eagan like being I don't know, and it was PA.
Are you being robbed?
It was PA. He got me a coffee. Yeah, honestly, I was.
It had that look a little bit.
I was scared.
It had that look.
Because he had these sunglasses on. I don't know what kind of sunglasses you had, but we got to get you some aviators or something. You could look way cooler than you were looking yesterday.
Maybe my goal of sunglasses is actually to protect my eyes from UV rays and not how I look. You know what I mean?
Right. But so
it scared you when I came up behind you and I said, "Have you checked the children?" That's the one that got you.
You did say it in a voice like, "Can I get you something?"
Right.
I was like, "What is going on?" Anyway, Tim,
your daddy can't help you now.
We got to meet your friend Tim, who was a phenomenal guy.
A+.
Just so nice. He was asking me like what I want, what I want to accomplish, like how I do my job. I couldn't have been.
That's what we do. We think we think about you. You know, we want things like that.
Lot.
Thus. You know, it's
way too much.
I'm glad when you said I'm not going to the game to cover it. Well, that was verbal manna from the Gridiron Gospel because it opened the door for us to potentially send you to Freehouse to be with Nordo, A, but B, it's an opportunity to make friends. And making friends is something that, you know, that could be very important to you moving forward in your personal life here in the Twin Cities.
No, I appreciate that. And good morning. And the manna from the Gridiron Gospel was just,
was it eloquent?
Well, I don't know what that is. Okay. Anyway, speaking of friends.
Well, I'm not saying manna from heaven.
I've got a good buddy here, Gunner. He's asking me, are you?
You should have brought him in today.
Yeah, I could have. He's probably doing actual work. Right. Are you calling races Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. He asked that. He seemed interested.
See y'all there. Oh no, I won't.
No, I won't be. I'll be out of town.
Yeah, you're gonna be out of town.
I'm gonna be out of town.
But see, when we discussed it, and the Wolves and the Vikings OTAs, we have to get to that soon because you have a lot of good stuff in your story at The Athletic and theathletic.com. This venture this weekend, we'll just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. We've talked about specifically with me, surrogate big brother friend. Is stop lying about friends. Stop making up friends.
Yeah,
imaginary friends should have stopped when you were 9. Okay, so you say you're going somewhere with friends. They're imaginary, Alec, and it's
you're
okay
acting
to go places by yourself.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't like, honestly. You know how like some people, I talk about this with friends, like some people will go to like eat dinner by themselves and like sit at a table and scroll on their phone.
Or go like Chick-fil-A by themselves like you yesterday.
Yeah, but I went to the
Caribou by yourself yesterday.
I was working. I don't go like on a just casual time.
How do you know the others aren't working?
They could.
How do you know?
It's not.
You don't.
No, I don't. You're right.
Stop judging.
Well, now you're making me feel bad.
No, you're judging.
I'm just saying
Stop.
I'm not comfortable doing that. Anyway, yeah. I don't know if you, but I lived a life before Minnesota, so there are friends pre.
That's what you say.
Minnesota bring your.
Yeah.
So
bring your ass.
Yeah.
That thing.
Can I say that on that?
Sure. Bring ya ass. Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you this. Let's make this a marathon for about McCarthy's still showing off that live arm, isn't he?
I mean, yeah.
The video you put on Twitter at Alec_Lewis, where you wrote like the JJ McCarthy bit we've all been wanting to see or waiting for.
Yeah,
you're right. I mean that football always wins. A lot of great things happening in the world of sporting activity year-round in a state like this with a core 4 pro teams. But, I mean, it's like when you put stuff out like that, man, people want to see McCarthy throwing what was a deep slant, I think, and the alacrity or the velocity of the heat on the pass. So I thought it was a cool tweet, man.
No, I appreciate it. I had a quarterbacks coach DM me, and they're like, hey, could you actually take a video from further away so I can get
How is Drew Petzing?
Yeah. But no, I mean, we have to stand at a certain spot, so that's where you take videos from. But I mean, it just jumped off the page. I'm not a quarterback guru. I'm not an elite mind. I went last year and watched Anthony Richardson and Sam Ellinger and all these people up close. So I would like
Senior Bowl?
No, I went down and spent some time with their trainers in Tampa. So while
cool.
I don't think there's so much I don't know about mechanics and throwing and all that stuff.
Yep.
I think it's pretty obvious when you just watch guys back to back and you watch JJ, Nick Mullins, Sam Darnold, and Jaron Hall. And the thing about JJ was, I mean, the ball just pops, especially when he's throwing intermediate over the middle. There was a dig route, I think, to like Lucky Jackson over the middle that he fit in there. And you saw a couple cornerbacks on the sideline kind of turn to each other like, damn. He just has major juice. And it was funny because I tweeted that yesterday, and there were a lot of people on Twitter like, and this is why some of the scouts were so wrong saying it has a noodle arm. Like, I don't know where that came from, that he doesn't have a really strong arm. If anything, it's going to be about managing it in the right way.
Yep.
And I think with the time for a 21-year-old that and the coaching that they've surrounded him by, the odds are probably likely that happens. But that is just watching him. The other thing, too, is like there was a play where he couldn't really find a window over the middle. He scrambled to his left, and then he kind of just scurried up the field, and it was an athletic.
He's fast.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's athletic. I watched him play. I watched him beat Alabama.
But he's really straight line fast.
I don't know if it's even straight.
When he gets loose.
Straight line maybe, but he just has some like spring to him. In a way that it just struck me, and it has through 2 practices. Which, you asked me about him last time, and I said like through a practice, there's not a ton you can glean. So I'm going off what I'm seeing. I'm going off conversations with people inside the building who are seeing him at times that I'm even not, and that's just what I've got. I don't want to make it bigger than it is.
Yeah.
There's a long road here. It's going to take a lot of time, which is fine. But that's just what stands out to me.
This is not preposterous statement worthy, because I'm not going to end it with J.J. McCarthy being Joe Burrow. Okay, but I want to ask you a couple of questions because J.J.'s arm, at least collegiately, and why I go down that road with you is because you're an elite SEC mind. So 2019, Jefferson here, Chase there, Terrace Marshall Jr. coming out of the slot. I think Edwards-Helaire might have been to the tailback for the play action. And then you got JoJo. I love Joe Burrow. And he has an inherent leadership quality to him that it's a yes or a no. So if the guess has to be, you got to be right, or it's this and wrong, it could be really bad. J.J. McCarthy has inherent huddle-related leadership skills. Yes. So it'd be a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. J.J. McCarthy's arm is every bit, if not more, if not stronger than that of Joe Burrow's, or every bit has as much pop.
Yeah, I think from a arm strength perspective.
Just strength.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow had to do a lot of mechanical kind of adjustments from the time he got in the NFL, and I think JJ might have to do some to become more efficient.
I agree.
But yeah, I'd say arm strength.
Okay.
Yeah, it's accuracy. I'm a little
okay. There you go. So let's know he's not in Burrow's class right now with that. Okay, and I would agree with you. They both are not runners, but can run.
Definitely athletic. Yeah.
Okay, athletic. Thank you. So now, JJ's 21, McCarthy's 21 and 4 months, something like that. Burrow, I believe, came into the NFL at age 23.
I'd have to check that.
22, 23. All right, so because my belief is yesterday I went in proclamation mode, and I'm like, well, this is not as much an affront to McCarthy and like, wow, holy cow, I can't believe how not ready he is. It's not like that. He's 21 years old. And so what I said yesterday was, unless Sam Darnold gets hurt, because I believe the Vikings will play winning football. Winning football it might not be 12, 13, 14 wins, but it's not turning the ball over after 400-yard performances. It's not fumbling 15 freaking times in like the first 10 games. That's not winning football. I believe Darnold will be part, certainly, of an offense that plays winning football. So I believe Darnold will play every game next season unless he gets knocked out or is making mistake after mistake after mistake. And then the next one still may not be McCarthy. It may be Mullins, because with McCarthy, they're going to the general manager's pedigree is that of investing. This is one of the biggest investments ever made in the history of this organization.
That's accurate.
They ain't going to rush it. I mean, it's going to have to be 9.6 out of 10 they know ready to go before in any circumstance they put him out there. So with all that said, do you see it that way with Darnold McCarthy, or do you believe that he can roll in here and beat him out of his money in training camp and he may be starting by October?
No, I mean, the way I framed it on this radio show already, it is in some way similar to you. Until it's like a baseball prospect call-up.
Yeah.
Until everyone in the organization signs off, he's ready. He's accomplished the playbook. His accuracy is right. He can process quickly. Again, some of that stuff you can't fully know until they're on the field, but when you have the sign-off of the guy who played quarterback in the NFL as the head coach, the guy who played quarterback in the NFL as the quarterback's coach, the other people in the room, like, I think there's a big, just like baseball prospect call-ups, there's a big thing in terms of respect in the locker room and the guys in there fully believing that a guy's ready and not getting the opportunity too quickly. I think that really matters. Like the Brian O'Neills, the TJ Hawkinsons, those guys thinking, okay, it's this guy's time. He's ready. He can lead us to wins at a level that the other guys can't. And until that happens, I think they'll take it slowly, which, given the investment and given just the fact he has a lot to learn, it totally makes sense. And while it's not maybe the fun, splashy thing that everyone wants, I think immediately, it is the right approach to take time and allow a guy to assimilate and learn. Like there are a couple things though that I mean, the Burrow thing is interesting. The processing ability is something that I think that's a question mark for.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think JJ can do it, but
Great
just
point.
Joe Burrow is so good post snap processing. He also runs a lot of RPOs and he just knows where he's going with the football. And that is going to be a question until we see JJ in live action. The other thing with you mentioned Burrow and kind of the aura and the confidence, like, I watched for these things, and yesterday they finished practice, they walked up the field, and I think Harrison Smith was doing his press conference kind of near the door to the locker room, and I watched JJ walk toward that door, and he stopped and he talked to Sam Newton, whose Vikings PR does a phenomenal job, and then after that conversation, he stayed right out there, and he like high-five, hand shook with Lucky Jackson, with Jalen Naylor. He was kind of like patting them on the helmet. It was this, I really don't think it was like a showy thing. It was like, how'd I do today? What can I do better? How did you guys, this just like there's a connection that he is able to kind of establish with these guys at a level that I think some guys just probably have that and some guys don't. So that's what I'd say in terms of where he is. But I think you're right to say that Sam Darnold will get some runway. He deserves it. I mean, he was pretty impressive yesterday. Just watching him for one practice, I thought he handled everything pretty well
at this stage.
It's one practice that I saw him throw a football, so he could be. We'll see. But I mean, it's not fun to not have the young shiny rookie be the guy right now.
But you do.
But anything.
Dallas Turner.
Yeah, we'll get there. But anything.
Well, that's a shiny rookie who's favored to be Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I don't know if is he favored.
He's favored. He's betting favorite.
Wow,
DraftKings, FanDuel, all that.
That's interesting. Yeah. But what I'd say is all great things take time. And especially when you make an investment like this, you want to surround it with the right people, the right decision-making process, everything that goes into it. And I think they're doing that, and I commend them for it.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com. Good story on a Dallas Turner available there right now. We'll get into that. And he's also an elite basketball mind, having attended a fair amount, if not all, of the Timberwolves, Denver, and or Suns home games. And much more to chat about with Alec. But first,
The Fan, along with BigDeck.com, want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword cash. The keyword is cash at KFAN.com.
Dallas Turner, the story at The Athletic is like the quirky nature or the fit in Brian Flores' quirky, unpredictable defense. But the NFL Accelerator program, I should know what this is. I can guess what it is and probably be right. But like in your story, it said Flores wasn't there. Was that story, right? Or the one from yesterday?
Flores was not there yesterday.
Yeah, so that's weird.
No, he's partaking in a program. It's kind of it's similar to kind of like what the Vikings are doing with the diversity summit. Some mock interviews, certain stuff.
Yeah. To like accelerate an opportunity to get a head coaching job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He
Good
didn't.
luck to him.
I think the Vikings wanted him to participate in the first year, and he was just kind of focused. But I mean, this is my conjecture.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't need an opinion. I just wanted to know, that's taking place now.
It is.
Wow.
I'm just going to say, like, I don't think this guy needs to. I mean, it's the fact
that's the whole point.
Like, he was already in the job, and he won games. Anyway, the Dallas Turner fit. I know. The Dallas Turner fit is too faceted to me.
It's ridiculous, Brian Flores. Okay, by choice, he's gone to the NFL Accelerator program to accelerate his chances to become a head coach. It's freaking ridiculous that he's there, and the NFL should be ashamed of itself that he is there. But they won't care because they print money. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No. I mean, look, Brian Flores, the fact he didn't get an interview, I remember like a couple weeks into the process.
Yeah.
And I had sat with him in his office and did this long profile kind of him and his progression as a coach. And I mean, he loves Minnesota. He does. Like, he was talking about his younger brother, Christopher, moving here, and his kids, I think, love it here. He goes to their basketball games. He really partakes in that stuff. But I just remember 2 weeks into the offseason, a lot of coaches were getting interviews, and his name did not come up. And I talked to people at the Vikings.
Unbelievable.
They're like, he hasn't gotten an interview. I mean, you would just think from you said it about the league, but you would just think from can we learn from this guy schematically and the way he thinks? You would want to talk to him anyway.
Yeah.
The Dallas Turner fit and why it is perfect to me is a two-faceted, two-pronged thing. One is Dallas's versatility. This guy is not just an edge rusher. He can rush the passer from the interior, given his bend. He can also play off the ball. And so when you think about Brian Flores' defense, you want guys rushing, you want guys dropping. They go max coverage, max drop. Dallas Turner can do that. The other aspect of Dallas Turner that was more interesting to me in doing the reporting of that story is he played for a guy at Alabama, Sal Sunseri, who coached in the NFL. He coached Julius Peppers. He's been a outside linebackers coach for 40 years. And he is as old school, hard-nosed, tough, get in your face. Will Anderson said to me, he mother bleeped us every day in practice, and it made us better. He said he held us to an incredibly high standard, and we met that standard. And so Dallas's willingness to take really difficult coaching and improve from it, which Alabama is kind of, and Nick Saban's Alabama is kind of known for, to me, it just even heightens the fit that I think is perfect. Dallas is interesting. Like, his dad worked on Wall Street, has a venture capital founded a venture capital firm. His mom
Founded it?
Yeah, he
done.
like has his own venture capital firm.
Yeah.
So just a really interesting dude, really talented player. He's so athletic. I mean, he jumped 40 and a half inches vertical leap at the combine. That's the same that Bronny James, LeBron's son, jumped at the NBA scouting combine. I don't know if you know, but Dallas Turner weighs 247 pounds and jumped that high. So
that's sweet. Didn't his dad play basketball? Like
his dad played
NBA,
his dad played pro basketball overseas in all these different countries, came back and immediately segued perfectly into the business world, went to Northwestern to get his master's. I mean, really impressive. He played high school football, Dallas did, and was coached by Jason Taylor, obviously Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so
former Dolphin and Jet defensive end.
Yep. So just you can understand from a lot of perspectives why Brian Flores would really like this guy. I think he could thrive in this defense. And it was interesting. Like Jonathan Grenard was not out there yesterday, neither was Pat Jones, and so Dallas was the one edge rusher, kind of just like lined up, which I thought was pretty cool to see.
And we're talking organized team activities. I believe the most you can do is 7-on-7, right? Or
that sounds right.
Can you do anything against anything?
There were some periods where it looked like there were bigger bodies. I don't know what like the rules are.
But
so
7 players against 7 players.
Yeah, there was a lot of 7-on-7.
So in at this stage of the equation, Aaron Jones, the former Packer, like when you watch Aaron, because I have not seen organized team activities yet. I got vocal maintenance days coming up next week, and that's when I hope to get out there. But when you see him, knowing what you've seen with Green Bay, like Aaron Jones, what do you think?
I texted a coach last night and I said, I laughed today watching Aaron.
How is Matt LaFleur?
No, a Vikings coach.
Okay.
I laughed watching Aaron Jones dart through holes today. And to your point, it is just like 7-on-7. The defense isn't tackling. He's not having to break tackles. But the comparison between, and this is, I mean, Alexander Madison really respected the guy.
Yeah.
Loved it, loved working with them, sat down with them.
Different players.
They hoped he was going to be an efficient runner, but just the juice that I was seeing yesterday from that position compared to what I saw last year, I laughed.
So it went Jones into Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, and just Jones' movement across the field compared to what I saw from Alexander Madison in workouts, it blew me away. And I will also say, Wes Phillips talked about Ty Chandler yesterday and about how they thought Ty really came on. So I get the feeling that they really believe in what Ty Chandler can also do this year. And to have a leader like Aaron Jones in the locker room and a guy for Ty Chandler to kind of work with and look up to me, will just probably accelerate his development to a level that we can't really understand. Kind of, I think about that similar to like a Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards. It's like that leadership stuff. You can't quantify it. You barely talk about it. It seems cliched, but having an older guy who understands the game and the work habits and how to treat people, I think it's an exponential value for some of these young players.
And with Ty Chandler, the and you know this, the atopic problem when he received myriad opportunities that maybe he didn't see coming, the pass protection and the blitz pickup and just the recognition of like he's to the left of say Mullins in the shotgun and then he's like moving him over. Oh yeah, goes over to the right. So the thing is. You know, unless there are joint practices where there are blitzes en masse, you don't get blitz pickup much in preseason, if ever.
That's a great point.
And in training camp, when it's Civil War, Euro against your D, well, see, they'll put Chandler in positions that none of us will get to see, where they will try to confuse him and Flores' defense will, like, they'll spend 15 minutes or X amount of plays blitzing just so he knows what and where or where and what. Because really until the season begins, we might not get much chance to see if he's improved at that.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about training camp, like Ivan Pace shooting up the hole, like, hey, step in front of that wrecking ball, that bullet bill in the Mario Kart game. I mean,
he almost knocked the right guard, the third right guard for Seattle. in the first preseason game. He almost knocked him out.
You know, it was interesting. For that Dallas Turner story, I talked to Coleman Hutzler, who is an outside linebackers coach at Mississippi State. He coached Dallas at Alabama. And he said to me, you know, the two things I wish
What's his name, Clive Hustler?
Coleman Hutzler.
Oh, sorry.
And he said, Clive
Hustler's a badass name, whatever that is.
No. He said, you know, the two things I wish we could track for defenders is anticipatory ability and how like strong a guy can be with his hands. And he's like, because those things are just so hard to really gauge. And that made me think of Ivan Pace just immediately. But back to Ty Chandler, like, yeah, I think it's so, I mean, pass protection is hard to understand from a media perspective. You don't, the slides and the duels from one side. I mean, it looks hard. It's hard to even, like, I've watched clinics on it. Like, it is like, for my brain, it's hard for me to understand. So I can imagine when the bullets are flying and 250-pound guys are running at you, it's not an easy deal. But the more Ty Chandler gets opportunities, and I think working with Aaron Jones, I mean, I think he'll be fine.
Just remember this in closing, and you may know it, but like when you see a back, okay, and there's plenty of time on the play clock. So it's before the ready. So it's before that. And they're like pointing. It looks like they're counting. Okay, the running back's not box counting. He's counting whatever, a letter, a number, or whatever, to be like, okay. Him there. Okay. So that's, you know what I'm saying? It's like we've seen it all week. I'm going to start here looking at this, but it may come from here. So they're generally trying to identify who and the spot from which he's coming.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes it could be the running back has to scan from the center to the tackle, and they have to, and there's a lot of pre-snap identification. That stuff where it's like, why did Kirk just get sacked out of nowhere? It's like, well, they might have kind of flip-flopped the identification, and it is complicated, and it's kind of above my head, but I've tried to learn about it because I'm an idiot.
It was awesome seeing you yesterday out of nowhere. Enjoy Free House tonight with the Con, and thanks for stopping by.
Always fun. Thank you, guys. Nordo, see you tonight.
Alec Lewis.
See you, man.
Alec_Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com. The wrap on the show is next. Unbelievably cool night tonight. Amazingly cool night tonight. And, you know, I've been a Timberwolves fan since the minute I got here in 98. I'm an NBA guy, just always have been. And, you know, 20 years ago when they were in the Western Conference Finals against the LA Lakers, they didn't advance, but it was just so much fun. And, you know, with the fans and the Jimmy K's and those who have and you know, like Ryan Tankey or Ethan Casson or Jeff Municky, or people that I've known with this organization, you know, almost since I got here. You know, I feel so good for people in spots like that. Jim Peterson would be another one where they've just seen and been through so much, and that really magnifies and amplifies how great this is for the long-standing old schoolers who were there when the D was removed from Ricky Davis's last name. Copyright Corey Covey became Ricky Avis because there's no D in Davis.
I always love that one.
So have fun tonight. Enjoy the moment. And hopefully we are able to howl with a victory celebration 9 to noon tomorrow. Don't forget to join Nordo tonight at Free House Minneapolis, right?
Yep, absolutely. North Loop area.
6:30 is when it starts. The Con arrives in the neighborhood of 7, game at about 7:30. I'm Paul Allen. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to noon. Dan Cole, the Common Man, is next, and here comes that wrap on the show.
Thanks to Casey's for bringing you the wraps, not the content, just the time slot. Casey's, food and fuel with rewards, the pizza, 99-cent medium fountain and frozen drinks. Push starting the show, just pop the clutch. Emotional complexes, they are soft to the touch. Can you blame Alec Lewis if he laughs too much with the tangential cartoon? Who knew he could speak Dutch? Game 1. Here come the Mavericks, Luka and Kyrie, all the circus tricks, free days of speculating matchup conflicts. Hope one of them reduced to launching bricks. Now I'm looking for 90 seconds of Nas where a kid calls time like I need to push pause. Getting out coached where he's grasping at straws and he can't handle the home crowd's raucous applause. I kind of picture Jaws like from a Bond movie. Can Rudy be that guy? Can Anthony prove he is ready to stand on the very top of the West? Man, this Wolves run just the absolute best.
appreciate. I love you and everything else, but you are not our personnel director.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.